Good evening, friends. This is Arpita here. So today, Awakening Series, Part 6. Today we are going to talk about beyond happiness and unhappiness. First, let us understand what is happiness. When we are talking about happiness and unhappiness, we know what is unhappiness is nothing. You're not feeling good about it. You're not feeling positive about it. All this are unhappiness. We know about it. Now, let us understand what is happiness. When we come to the point of what is happiness, the first point we need to understand is the higher good beyond the good and bad. Okay, the state which is completely beyond good and bad. What is good and what is bad? When something is beyond this factor, the judgment, the perceptions, then now what is the difference? That is the point we need to understand about happiness. Now, what is the difference between happiness and what is this higher good? Higher good is when we can label it as inner peace. Okay, where you are from inside, you are completely very peaceful, very calm, and very still. Okay, completely still. Now, what is the difference between this happiness and inner peace? Both seems good. When you're happy also, you're calm, you're cool, you're pleasant, you're everything. And when you're at the inner peace, we already know that this is it. Now, what is the difference between this happiness? Is the happiness and inner peace is the same, or what is the difference? Okay, first we need to understand happiness is happiness depends on the conditions, that is being perceived. How you have perceived a situation based on as positive. You think that, oh, this is good, I'm feeling so good, I'm feeling happy, right? But inner peace is got nothing to do with any perception. It is the mind which says that is good, so you're happy. This is bad, so you're not happy. Okay, it is a mind which says that. But when it is coming to inner peace is going beyond happiness and unhappiness. It is going beyond your mental perceptions. There is no perception. There is no anything called positive or negative. Okay, it is not positive. It is we need to understand that is it possible to attract only positive conditions in our life, where we can always be happy, kind, we can always feel that yes, I am happy. Okay, is it not possible? If our attitude, if our way of life, attitude is, it's like a way of life. When our attitude is and our thinking is always positive, then we can always attract the positive things. However it comes, you are taking it as positive only. So it is the positive events only, is it not? Right? We can, when we ask question on ourselves, we know that when we are attractive, when we are thinking, the our attitude itself is always being positive and our thinking mode is always positive, then whatever comes into our life, we conceive it as we perceive it as a positive only. Okay, so what is this positive and negative? When we come to the point of what is this positive and negative, we say that there is a higher good which includes bad also. Okay, that higher good is got nothing to do with positive or negative. It includes everything. It includes light also. It includes dark also. Both the things. It is only the perception of the mind which is making a thing whether it is positive or good, negative. It is the mind that is saying it. Okay, if not, everything is, the situation is there the way it is supposed to be. Every situation is going on the way it has to be. It is the mind which is perceiving it as good and bad. Right? Now, not pretending anything. Let us not pretend anything. Oh, if we are thinking, oh, I think always positive. So we get to understand that if we want all positive situations, so we need to become positive. So we need to always think positive. Everything happens for good. Let us go little beyond this pretending thing. Okay, we know where we are suffering. With some situations we are suffering, we are feeling bad within ourselves, right? We are feeling all this. So it is not possible at that point of time when our we to think that oh, all is good, I'm thinking positive and all is good, this is also happening. And this we don't have to say. We have to be little authentic within ourselves also. So when we are not pretending and taking everything whatever is happening the way it is, not judging. Okay, not judging whether it is good or bad, just going beyond this judgment layers, this labeling business. And when we go a little beyond, and when we think, okay, this is how it is. Oh, now I got hurt. Now what do I do? I'll give you a very beautiful story here. I think I've shared it earlier also in my earlier talks, but then I'll share it again. Good things, it's okay to listen again. Once there was a war going on. Okay, and as when war, what happens, there's the other soldiers shower arrows onto this part of soldiers, and these also do the same thing. Okay, it is like hitting the arrows to each other. Now in that, as the war was going on, one shoulder just fall down. He fell down and he saw there is a arrow which is hit to his shoulder. And now immediately he sees that, and there was another shoulder who fell. And now these two shoulders are thinking, oh my God, you have also got hurt. There's an arrow. And I heard, and the discussion has happened, I heard there is a scorpion poison to the arrow. I heard. Then the other is saying, no, if it is a scorpion poison, then we would have not fallen like this. There must be something, maybe a snake one. And now immediately, as this discussion was going on between these two soldiers, there is another one who fell. Okay, who fell. And now he says, oh, see, there's one more. We are all just falling. What is it? Do you also think the same thing? Then he thought the third one thinks they are too busy in understanding, what poison would have been in the arrow which struck them. He, without giving any communication or any discussion, he just got up, walked to the clinic nearby, because there is anywhere there is medical aid, is basic medical aid is always there. He went there, he removed it, he put all the medicine, and he did the first aid, and he came back and he again joined the war. And these two who were discussing about it died. Okay, now through this, what is that we are understanding? It is the reaction of whatever has happened. How are you reacting to whatever has happened to you? Are you responding to the situation, or are you reacting to it? When you are reacting, whatever you perceived an action and you are only reacting to it. So it will be the same. But when you respond to it, it is different. It is completely different. Okay, in totality, it goes different. Always respond to it, something, instead of reacting. We are so much in, our minds are such a state. We have made our minds in such a way that we jump into reactions very quickly. We do not understand the thin layer between reactions and being responsive. Okay, when you are responding, you are making the action, whatever is action, whatever way it was, you're making a difference to it. But when you are reacting, it is reaction. It is a replay which is happening. Okay, the arrow struck, they were discussing about the poison, and the poison spread over. And the result was, the consequence of all the discussion was the death. But the other person, he responded to that. He went and immediately, now what? It is kind of now what? So when you allow things to be the way they are, it takes you beyond the mind. Now the mind is not interfering, because you are taking it. Oh, now this is stuck. Now what? You are not discussing about that now. Okay, you are not discussing about whatever has happened. You are not being there. You are immediately allowing it. You have already accepted it, whatever it is. Okay, once the poison is stuck, where does it matter whether it is a scorpion or it is a snake? Where does it matter? What would be the result? Okay, it makes no sense. So the same way, when you go immediately, when you allow things to accept the things and allow the things the way they are, it will take you without any resistance. Now there is no resistance, because you allowed the things to be the way they are. It is the way they are. There is nothing for you to change. So it is taking you beyond the mind, and with its resistance also. And every pattern will repeat. It was the first one who fell and the second one who fell. It was a pattern which was coming up. The third one fell, but the third one immediately went into a response state. He responded to whatever has happened. He didn't react, he responded to whatever has happened. So there was that created, every situation when you are the pattern is repeating, there is always a possibility of positive negative polarities also happening. Okay, it is the essential aspect of forgiveness. It is like, to forgive the moment for whatever the moment has expressed at that moment. It is important to forgive also. These are the patterns which come, which repeat to us, so that we can forgive the self also, and the others also, and the situation in totality. When the forgiveness is the present is more important, that moment, if you carry on with the point of forgiveness, that is response. You are responding, okay, this has happened, he has hit, and this has happened, it is hurting here. Okay, done. Now what? You immediately get into the next mode. It is like, you are not forgiving that the past, oh, that person has hit me and I'm suffering so much, still I forgive him. No, we are not getting into all that. It is okay, I allowed it. This is okay, this is fine. Now I can, I'm there, I have understood. Now I respond to this pain now. Okay, so this is how it is. It is like, do whatever you have to do. You can do whatever you have to do. You want to curse that person, you want to do this, you want to do that, do whatever you want to do, but accept first whatever it has happened to you at that moment. Whatever you have attracted, whatever has the present situation was there, you accept it, whatever is there, and now do what you're supposed to do at that point of time. Okay, since mind and resistance, they are like, these two words go together. Mind is always, sometimes it is resistance. Acceptance, when you accept the thing the way it is, it frees you from many things, from your mind dominating you. Your mind is dominating you. Your mind is meaning asking you to, in that example what I've given in the soldiers example, the mind is telling those soldiers to think about it, be here only, there in the pain. Okay, when you accept, okay, it is hurt now. Okay, now it is hurt. Now, instead of, it is not my work to decide what poison is it. It is somebody else. Okay, let me do my work. Let me do what I am supposed to do. So you do what you have to do. Okay, and along you accepted whatever was there. Okay, it's a war, it has to happen. Okay, fine, it has happened. Now fine, now what I'm doing. Sometimes, when you accept the things the way it is, it frees your mind, because mind has always have the sometimes the mind goes in rigidity. It is very conditioned, and it tries to dominate you. It goes into the dominant role to keep you dominated. You want to feel, yes, you want to understand more than something else. Okay, these things happen, and this cannot reconnect you with what you are, because when you are responding, you become what you are. You become that being only, who is witnessing this pain or whatever. But when you are talking about, something else is happening around the world, what is that about the result, this has happened, and you are discussing about the result. This would be this would be this. This ego is motivating. Ego is nothing but a conditioned mind. That conditioned mind is motivating you. It could be that motivation is probably, because of some fear, or some greed, or some control, defending, or all this defense mechanism comes. You don't want to accept that. You don't want to accept that you are hurt, so you want to feel it something else. You want to give some other picture for that perception towards it. So you're trying to understand what it is all about. You're digging it even more. You're peeling everything. You're trying to understand. It is like you're doing the surgery. Okay, it is somebody else also can do it at that point of time. Sometimes, when you are caught up in a situation, whatever could be the situation, maybe some argument happening at home, or somebody is not listening to you, or maybe you are right and somebody is not able to understand what you are saying. At that situation, you try to try to explain them in such a way so that whatever you are thinking is right. Okay, whatever your thought process, there is an answer in your mind, you have already believed it, and you want rest of everyone to believe it, so you are keeping everyone in that conversation. In this way, what happens is your false identity, like your ego personality, takes over, and it begins to operate. It begins to operate, and it will never take you to any kind of solution, because that personality itself has become a problem now. It will not take it to any solution. So differently, everyone, it is like you always need to understand that an intelligence beyond this is also there working. Okay, if this has happened to me, this hurt has happened to me, this pain has come to me, then there must be some solution for this pain now. Okay, later, what about it is, I will discuss it later, I will talk about it later, I can do that later also, but right now, to release this, I can do something, there is something else which can take care of this. The same way, whenever any situation comes to us, we have to first witness it, because immediately most of the time we immediately jump into conclusions, we immediately jump into judgments, we immediately jump into reaction mode. We replay, it's kind of a replay of whatever has happened. So what you need to do is, you come first, witness it, whatever has happened, witness it. Once you witness it, you listen to it, and then now you understand what has happened. You need to give yourself that little time. It's not like when you are witnessing, oh, as I go on witnessing, that the things will keep on happening. That means the very thought itself saying that you want to do something. Okay, if you want to do something and you believe that what you are going to do is going to be the ultimate right, and you keep on trying and that never works, and you feel, I have done the right way, but these people don't want to understand, your ego is satisfied. This will never take you beyond state, beyond whatever you are. When you witness it, I have told my thing, and now rest, whatever has to happen, it will happen. I have known in my childhood, I know that if such hurt happens, if you fall down and this hurt happens, you need to immediately wash that area and put some the cream or anything, and then allow it to heal all by itself. We have done that, and we are telling other person who has fallen the same thing, because you know something about it. And you said, if the person is not willing to understand, you need to take it, okay, maybe the things have changed, maybe that person might be thinking different. Everyone's perception of a situation is different. We need to accept that. When you accept that everyone quality of consciousness is completely different, I think something or a situation I might see in a different way, somebody else might be seeing in a different way. Everyone's perception might be completely different. Now we need to understand, and we need to trust that process. Okay, the problem always lies, like how we want to take the situation, accept the situation. We want to accept the situation the way we want it, we believe it. It might be right, wrong, or whatever it is, it's a secondary thing, but first we want to believe it. Now whenever anything negative happens to you, okay, there is a deep whenever there is a sometimes you might have, maybe somebody has, you might have told somebody that this is how it has to happen, and that person, the other person, has not heard about it. Okay, and you have tried enough, and you didn't the other person has not heard about it, and apparently the person might have fallen into some issue, some negative play. Maybe somebody has told, you have told somebody not to go that way, but still that person has went there, and then now you are helpless, and you cannot do anything, and you remain silent. Now what happens is, you cannot keep on, at this point you need to understand that everyone's process of learning is different. Some people learn through the path of darkness, and some people learn through the path of light. Okay, everyone's learning process is different. When everyone's learning process is different, when there is something through in a hard way, through the darkness, if a person is wanting to learn a situation, then it is also good for them. It is because they need to cut off their own rigidity. Maybe the other person must be holding a kind of rigidity. That rigidity might have come from his past. Maybe he might have heard from his generations, from his ancestors or grandparents or anything, a repeated thing. So maybe the other person, the way of looking life for the other person might be through the whatever he has heard. Okay, now whatever you as a third person giving you an input might be thinking something different. Maybe it is not getting into his system. Okay, so always understand every negative thing, whatever negative happens in our life, is also coming with a beautiful insight. I don't call lesson every time, but there might be an insight, a beautiful insight. Although you may not see it at that point of time when things are not happening, maybe you may not see about it. Whatever is happening you may not see, but you will always see that there is a beautiful things which are happening. There is a beautiful unfoldment. Even a brief illness, or a health is not well, or any kind of accident which has come, everything can show what is real and what is unreal in life. We might have heard so many times, unless you fall you do not know what is the value of standing up, how important it is to stand up. Okay, unless you have not fallen, you never learned how to stand up. Unless there was darkness, I didn't realize how important light was. Okay, all these things come into perception. So some people, they attract because there is so much of inside, there is so much of system inside them. They prefer to learn from all the darkness. They prefer to learn from all the negative shades, all the dark shades, all the rigid shades, and then they learn systems. Okay, so it is like what ultimately matters is what is being shown, what is the perception from the higher perspective. From the higher perspective, what is important? See, when you see this hand like this, it is black, and when you see it is white. But when you see from here, both are same, because both belong to the same hand. Okay, just by showing, say, understanding it this way and this way, nothing is changed. My hand is not going to change. Okay, so we need to understand it is, and the higher perspective is always there. Every situation is coming to us. We are attracting a particular kind of situation every time, however we perceive it, the mind however it perceives it, whether the mind is perceiving it as positive or the mind is perceiving it as negative. However the mind is perceiving it, we are always looking at the what best is. There is always a higher perspective to it. It is, this situation is happening because somewhere some things, this insight of whatever this moment might be useful in a long run for us. Okay, in our own life. So that's the reason there's an important, there may be sadness, sometimes there may be tears, and provided you might have left with all the resistance have gone, you have left, you are not holding on to any thought or anything, still there are so much of sadness and so much of tears, everything is happening, but you will feel there is a deep purity sometimes happens. Sometimes you attract hurt, pain, so much of emotional waves which you attract in a situation, because there is a deep, in the deepest level, there's a beautiful insight and beautiful calmness which is there. You understand, even the ocean also, however the waves might rise and fall from the top, the bed of the ocean is always steady and still, it does not move. The same way, to bring out that stillness from deep within, sometimes this waves, the emotions, this waves are sometimes go up and down, get imbalanced. It is okay. Okay, it is good that we need to reach that point, that inner peace, that bed of ocean which has got no opposite. There is nothing positive, or if you are saying, if it is good, that means there is something opposite of it. If you are saying bad, that means there is something good also about it. So here, when you're going to that stillness state, completely the bed of the ocean state, completely still, calm and still and composed, not moving at all, that is the state where there are no opposites. It is just there. So sometimes, it is like, not sometimes, most of the times, you see any situation which has come, which has come into an experience in our life, in our day-to-day life basis, whatever could be the issue, big, small, medium, whatever way, when you forgive, that entire situation in totality, through self or through others or anyone, anything, accordingly, in totality, when you forgive, which is like, when you are forgiving as a particular thing or a particular object or particular person, when you are forgiving, then the total active of activity of, the forgiveness is happening, act of forgiveness is happening. It is like you are recognizing the insubstance in the past. Okay, there is no substance, there is nothing which is there. You are, the minute you are accepting, you are forgiving. Okay, it has happened, so what? It's okay, it's happened. Now what? In my childhood, I was like a covered child and I never had any thing. It's okay, I was covered, so what? It is okay, I was covered, fine. Then now it has got nothing to do it. It is okay. That does not mean you are bad, you are worst, you are something today. Okay, so the minute you forgive whatever it is, whatever has happened in the past, that means you have recognized that, there is no substance, there is no matter to the present moment. In childhood, I was like that. Now it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't affect anywhere. Okay, that matter is no more alive. Okay, now allowing the present moment to be the way it is. The minute you are forgiving, you are, recognizing that it is, that past is over and it has got nothing to do with me and in this present. And when you are allowing the present moment the way it is, it itself means, the past is being dissolved. And the miracle of transformation, what we call the transformation, which you are looking for, that miracle of transformation is happening within also and externally also, internally and externally, because you have accepted the moment the way it is. It is like, you're feeling hungry, right? You're feeling hungry, and so much of hunger happening, and the stomach is making all kinds of noises in you, and you're feeling so bad in physically, that you might, collapse, or you might anything. The minute you feel, yes, I'm hungry, and it is okay, even if I collapse here, it is okay, it is okay. Other than accepting this, now there is nothing I can do. The minute you accept it, you see that there is a different kind of note which will happen. Even if you fall, not pretending anything, you try to resist something, removing all the resistance and accepting the way it is, the moment, however the moment it is. Now you see the transformation happens. Now you will see how beautiful it is. The moment will pass on, it will not keep you hold. Just because you are holding it, you are falling down, may not fall, you may really fall. Even if you accept it, you don't accept it, you will fall. Okay, you have to go to that extreme level of accepting whatever was the condition. It is fine, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Other than experiencing this hunger, there is nothing I can do. I accept this hunger. This is how a hunger is. Okay, this is transformation things. You have realized something. The minute you have realized something, there is a transformation. The slowly, the deeper within, this transformation takes place. And now the end of this, the second part is the end of the drama. End of the life drama. It is like most of the so-called whatever bad things we are labeling it as, most of the things that are happening because of being unconscious. You are unconscious of the present moment. That is the reason the so-called bad things are happening. Okay, we are not realizing the present moment the way it is. There might be a past, because of past so and so, so and so, so and so things we have been doing. You have been giving to somebody, on a charity. You have been giving off all the money, and suddenly you ended up seeing nothing, no money with you, and you are suffering out of suffering the hunger. Okay, now it is okay. This today has brought because of me alone. When you accept it completely, you are not accepting, and you make that situation so bad, you start cursing other people. Everybody, I helped everyone all this my days of life, and now when I am in need, nobody wants to help. Your blaming game has begun. The minute you are going on blaming, and so-called this entire situation has become so bad to you, this has happened because you are It is only unconscious. You have become unconscious about the moment now. Okay, it is self created. It is self created, or rather, you can say that rigidity of the mind has created, ego created. Okay, sometimes referred to, these are the situations which is called drama. There is so much drama, there's so much of complaints, and there's so much of blame game, so much of judgment, so many things are happening. Okay, when you are fully conscious, okay, when you are completely conscious, okay, now I am feeling hungry, nobody has come, I've helped so many and nobody has come. Fine, nobody has come. Did I do that somebody has to come? Was there any expectation in my doing? Then I have to suffer this, because why did I expect, when I expected something, why did I at all had to do that? They could have earned all by themselves, they could have handled their own situations. Why did I went all by myself and helped? They asked help, I could have always said, what the most, what would happen? They would have, pointed you're very bad or that moment, and they could have left. Okay, but at least this situation would have not happened. So this situation, whatever has happened, is self created. I have created this situation. I am the whole and soul responsible for this present situation, whatever it is there. Okay, it is the ego, it is all the drama should cut off from our life. It is, you need to say an end to all this life dramas. The ego, what it does is, the ego is a rigid mind. It is holding on to one thought. It itself, it perceives itself as a separate fragment. It feels like, you are separate from them. Oh, I am totally different from them. It is the deeper inside, the ego is saying, oh, I am completely, totally different from them. They are different and I am different. Okay, I'm highly enlightened being, and they're all ordinary being. They don't know about life, and they do not know anything about life, and the actions, how pure you need to be, how this and that, so many things. It is good to think good about you, but it is not good when you are making somebody else small just to make yourself good, yourself superior. Okay, this is like, there is no real inner connection. It is a fake personality. Any other, it is surrounded, your entire situation in totality, you are surrounded with your ego, with a rigid mind. Okay, you either you see it as a, it could be sometimes be a potential threat also. Sometimes we see that, suddenly you see that in life it happens, you have lost your job, you lost your family, you lost everything. Okay, you are standing all by yourself, all alone. It could be like a threat to you, which is threatening your potential. Okay, it may look completely, but all these days, what brought you to this situation? You can just check into yourself. You can just quickly have a picture of what your rivers, go reverse and have a picture that this is what, when things were all right with me, this is how I felt about life, this is how I have dealt with every situation. I never bothered for everyone in my life, or whatever was. Maybe I was there was fears in me of losing something, or maybe there was somewhere a feeling of approval seeking, or something might be there, some fear, some power thing, and some ego based thing, some greed, some defense, something might have been there. So this situation is like a threat for you to bring out your potential. Now all these layers are going to come. Are you feeling scared? Are you pretending that are you taking a task of something, like you are defending yourself? Or are you trying to control the situation with some, suddenly thinking that no, nothing has happened, I can deal with, and you're just masking yourself and moving on? All this are like, there are resistance, they are it is the deep seated fear which has created this. Now it is a threat for you. Are you willing to, when we think that, how did I come to this state? Okay, I came to, I earned well because I, from the scratch, I made my point. Maybe you have accumulated your whatever property or anything from your forefathers, or maybe from your parents, but they have also started somewhere from the scratch. When they could do, the same DNA is flowing in you, you could also do. So you don't have to be scared. It's not a potential threat, it's a exploration state. Now you life has given you an opportunity to explore yourself. You have explored yourself as a forefather in somewhere in the past, as parent in somewhere in the past, and as you can once again explore. It is not a big deal. Okay, when you see life is giving you a challenge, and behind every threat kind of a challenge, there is a exploration methodology also coming up. So when we see that, all some of the ego strategies, some of the mind, how the way it makes all the strategies, the planning, they are like extremely clever. However, this cannot do, this we cannot do, this we cannot, so much of planning happens, but yet they cannot solve any problem. In spite of making so many planning and so many things, they cannot solve the problem, simply because the ego itself is the problem. The rigid mind itself is the problem. Once the rigid mind is removed, everything changes. Okay. Now, what is the impermanence and the cycle of life? Now you end the drama. No blaming, no judgments, no nothing. You accept the moment the way it is. But if you want to go beyond happiness and not unhappiness, you need to connect to that inner peace. That's the first point we talked about. And the second is end of the cycle, end of the life drama. Go beyond the drama, accept the things the way they are, however it is, whatever happens. And now the third point is impermanence and the cycle of life. And now the down cycle is absolutely like, it is a spiritual realization. Everything, whatever happens in our life, it's like understanding, realizing our own essence. When I say spiritual, it is understanding our own tattva, our own essence. So you might have failed deeply many number of times at level, and you might have experienced some deep loss and some pain inside, and to the, it might have, maybe you might have lost, and you might have you've gone through so much of heartbreak in your life that you took some it might have drawn you some towards some spiritual dimension, taking some help of some counseling, or going to this therapy or that therapy, or going to temples and seeking for some, you are drawn to the spiritual dimension in some way or the other. Or perhaps you might be very success, yet you might feel very empty inside. Oh, I have everything in life, but still I don't know, I feel very empty. Okay, in every success there is a failure, and in every failure there is a success. The joy is, the joy is always caused, and it arises, it comes again and again. It's elevated from within as a joy of being. As a being, you are very joyful, but it is the mind which is always making the changes. It is not permanent at all. The cycle of life is going this way, and again the things are repeating. And whenever the things, see, when the circle is going on like this, there are the same things which are repeating again. And whenever there is repeating the sentence, whenever a particular thing is repeating, every time it is showing you something new which you have not seen it before. Okay, it is an essential part, it is the essential way of, the joy which is there, which when you are touched, when how much ever the waves, we have talked about the waves example, how much ever the waves are, when the bed of the ocean state, the stillness state is touched, that is the true that is the permanent state of you, that can never be changed. Rest, everything is impermanent, and it's a cycle of life. It is going on and on and on and on. It is going on. As you reach the center is your deepermost, your core as a being. That is your core, your deepest essence. That is your being. When you reach that state, that is what is completely taking an permanent state. You are permanently, nothing can change. You need to reach that state. So whenever the situations are repeating, you are traveling all this path. That is the reason there is so much of impermanence which is going on. The cycle of life is going on. But when you come to the center, how much ever the cycle goes on, you are least interested. You are able to see it. This has happened before also. It goes on. You are least interested. You are not focused on that because you are already in the center. It is the situations which are moving around you. It is okay, and slowly it will see after the circles and all. It also, all the situations come and merge in you, so that it appears completely different now. Now there is no situation, there is no external. Everything is internal, and it dissolves. It is going deeper and deeper and deeper, and then everything is dissolved. You need to work hard. It is not something that you need to work hard and struggle to attain that state. It is just accepting everything the way it is, as simple as that. And now using and relinquishing the negativity. Negativity is like it begins, like it begins from irritation to impatience, or as an anger to a depressed mode. Either you are very angry or very depressed, or it is too irritative and impatience, and so many things happens. And sometimes you may feel like suicide despair. This you want to live life. You don't want to be in life. You want to come out of this life. You are not interested in living this life. This depressive mode might take you to the suicidal tendency. Sometimes, even the resistance, whatever this is. See, for example, I'll give you a small example. A person might have been in a relationship, and suddenly he felt a thought. He had felt a fear that I might lose my partner. Okay, the person might be holding the feeling, I might lose my partner. And now this fear unconsciously is growing, is taking all the circles every time, and it is growing inside, and it is becoming stronger and stronger. And now what is happening now, to avoid that, to not to experience that, the person is going into so much of defense mechanism. Okay, he's going into a defense, he's taking under control, he's being the person might be becoming more possessive, all these things, and trying to check out all this uh, 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 detective kind of a thing. Okay, all these characters, when this becoming all these things, there is that this all these things, whenever a person is trying to do all this defense mechanism, he is actually triggering his emotional pain. What are you looking for? What are you holding on to? What are you trying to do? You are hurt, and nothing more than that. The fear which you were holding inside you, you are watching every situation from the perception of the fear. So what are you searching? What are you looking for? You are looking for that fear only. So you will be attracting the same thing. All the triggers will happen which will trigger the same emotional pain. Okay, in which case even a minor situation, even a small situation may produce intense negativity. May feel, yes, oh my god, I thought this would happen and this has happened. Even a small thing, it might be a very small thing, but it is making it a very big thing. Okay, so that's how the anger, depression, and deep grief, all these things come out. And we are the very intelligent and very very so-called enlightened beings. It's only we species knows what is negativity and what is positivity. Only we know that. No other species on this planet knows about negativity, but we human species, we know completely about negativity because we are so-called enlightened. Okay, now this is like, I will tell you a small thing. Duck. When you see a duck stands as if it is dead in the water. But when the fish comes, it simply takes the fish and goes. Right? How the duck this. It's a natural wisdom. It knows that the fish is there and the fish is going to come. I'm going to take and go. It is the natural process for the duck. And it is easy for them because they do not have a mind that tells that, oh, this is last time when I came here, when I stood there, this fish has not come, so this time this may not come. The duck has got not much thing. It's a natural flow. It will go into the water. It knows where to get it, how to get it, and it goes. Okay. It is not building up any unnecessary identities around it. But as long as we humans, we have created so much of mind work around us that we use every signal as if, as if some negativity is going, some danger appearing. But we need to use it as a signal. Every time when a pattern repeats, we use it to think as if it is a signal which reminds you to be in present. It is not taking you to the past, it is taking you to the present moment. It is bringing back you to the present moment. Okay, whenever you notice that there is some kind of some form of negativity which is arising within you, whenever you notice that, look into it as not as a failure but as a signal. It is a signal that is telling you to wake up. You're not in the past, you are in the present moment, and be there. Okay, this is the nature. And the next point is the nature of compassion. As long as you are unaware of your stillness, the bed of ocean, your stillness, your natural state, the reality of every other person will, will you feel that, as if it is yours. You have not, because you have not found yours. So every other person, however the person might be behaving, you feel that it is because they are behaving towards you. Okay, your mind will like it, will dislike, it will their form. They might you might like the form, you might not like the form, which is not, just like it is not their body is also included in the mind. But sometimes when you are looking at a person, at a perception, when you are, when you have not found yourself, whomever you are seeing, along with the personality, along with the outer perception personality, you are accepting them the way they are. Okay, but when there is, and true relationships become possible only when you want to have a true relationship. When it coming to compassion, when you want to have a relationship, very beautiful and healthy relationship with everyone, anyone in the world, even to yourself, it is only possible when you are aware of that state, of that stillness state. Unless you are aware of that, it is not possible to be aligned to everyone, accept everyone the way they are. The perception, you will perceive another person as a body and mind, just as, as a screen, who are reflecting what is there inside you. They are like mirrors. Okay, so when you stay in the present, connecting to that inner still, and when you are able to look beyond this form. Okay, the person is the form, but beyond the form, the person's state, when you are connecting to the state, then you feel that, that everyone is the same. You radiate the same pure consciousness from your side. And compassion is the awareness of the deep bond between yourself and also all the creatures. Okay, there is nothing in common. Every person is presenting themselves in a different way. Nothing is common, but it is why you are seeing a commonality in the other person, because you are seeing whatever is inside you, that is getting projected here, that is getting reflected here. Okay, that is how you are seeing the common. Now it is like you want to die, you die before you die. Go into it deeply. You want to understand what death is, go into it deeply, completely. Your physical form is dissolving. Understand that your physical form is completely dissolving and it is no more. Then a movement with, all when the physical form is dissolving, when all the thoughts, all the forms which are there in your mind so far, everything will get dissolved. They also die. Yet you are still there. When everything, this identification, when whatever thought process, whatever conditioning, whatever perception about the situation you are taking, when you delete this identity, then the reality comes out. Okay, you are radiantly, you are fully aware. Now you are completely aware that, you are not within the forms or this illusions or names or identification and anything. You are actually beyond all this. And this realization of this, the state is deathless dimension. It is a deathless dimension because form can dissolve, form can die, identity can die, all the illusions of mind can die, but the real you, the essence of you, will never die. So when you realize that it is the essence which is going to live all the time, and your true nature is the other side, that the main important component of your true nature is compassion. When you know this, when you recognize this, and now you become immortal, you go beyond the limitations of identification. Okay, you go beyond the identity. And in compassion, the opposite feelings of sadness or joy, everything merge. There is no there is only inner sense, like it is beyond positive and negative and all these things. It is joy. And next, the sixth one comes as towards a different order of reality. It is like your perception of the world. You need to always understand that your perception of whatever, however you are perceiving the world, is nothing but the reflection of the state of your consciousness inside. You're not separate from it. You're not separate from your fragrance. You are never separate from your fragrance. But your fragrance, you are the consciousness, the intellect inside you is making you to understand the world the way it is because it is in that state. Okay, there is no objective world, and you cannot make it separate out of it. Every moment your consciousness creates the world you are habituated to, and nothing is what it seems to be. Nothing can be what it seems to be. You are seeing it that way, but that might be true, that might not be true. The world that you create and see through is through this egoic mind, because this mind is rigid. It is conditioned. It is conditioned to see this way only because we have been hearing so many things from our past, and we have conditioned it to see in the same way. Okay, this is what do you call it, is this is how the consciousness in you interprets, understands, and interacts with every person outer and inside also. That is how the every molecule, every cell inside is communicating and interacting. There is always a dance going on. Okay, there's, yes, I have understood this. There's intelligence working all the time, and this energy is the raw material of so-called whatever is the physical reality. Whatever is happening inside, the interaction and the communication between the cells which is happening, that is what will be reflected outside. You see it in terms of, you see it in forms, you see it as birth or death, or struggle for survival. There are so many issues. You might see all these things, but an infinite number of completely different interpretations. There are n number of interpretations and completely different worlds. You see everything as totally different. My inner is so peaceful, the outer world is so chaotic. You have not yet connected to that chaos inside. Okay, every being becomes a point of consciousness for you, and every that point creates its own world. Everyone creates the same way the own world, although those worlds are, everything is interconnected within ourselves also. Everything is interconnected. Every cell, every molecule, atom, every intelligence out there interacting with each other. So everything is interrelated. So the total of so much of interpretation, so many perceptions we have already carried, everything is there. It's a different order of reality. This reality is totally going differently, and you go deeper into a deeper reality, into a deeper dimension of within your own self. You are seeing so many worlds, so everything is interconnected. What happened today is somewhere connected to something which has happened to you in some past, maybe with your ancestors or your forefathers or anybody. Everything is becoming into that point. Okay, you see that everything is interrelated. And now there is a human world. We already know that there is a human world, there is an ant world, there is this world, that world. There are so many worlds. We might have heard so many things. And any being who has whose intellect Whenever you hold the intellect of with the higher conscious, where and you understand that everything is interconnected, we all are interconnected within ourselves with what, with the source, with from where we have come. We know that we belong to all this family. Within the family members also, we know we belong to all these family members. And how we are connected, how we have come to this family members, because from so many, some so and so person, some from our forefathers, we have been coming out. We can make the family tree. Okay, and everyone would have the same kind of qualities. Maybe the perceptions are different, maybe the presentations are different, but the essence would be the same. Okay, so we know that, how much ever everyone feel, everyone is the same. And always raise your awareness by disseminating the information. Remove all the information, or at the most, practice the passive sensitivity. It is like you realize everything, you understand everything, but you're not attached to anything. But make sure that you carry no resistance. It is okay however you are, whatever is your essence, whether you are still, you are not still, anything, it is fine however you want to be. But always work on a point, be at the point of where there is no resistance. You are not holding on to things. I don't say, there's a point like, love your enemies. That does not mean you have to go and you have to love everyone. Make it a point there are no enemies at all, because enemies is, what is enemy? Enemy is nothing but a perception, a form. You have perceived a form in a way which you are not comfortable. So the perception is yours, it is not the form. Right, the causal, the level you need to remind your primary focus for everything is to, the main purpose for you to be in this present moment, accepting the way it is, without all this life dramas, this judgments and all these things. Okay, make it a point, there is no enemy at all. Go beyond all this, accept the thing moment the way it is, connect to that inner peace which is completely stable, completely still. Always be in that moment. Whatever can make you to be in that moment, do everything, but don't allow this inner state to be away from your consciousness. Be every moment, be fully aware of that. What is enlightenment? Enlightenment is nothing but always being connected to that stillness state. At every molecule level, at every cell, every atom level, you realize the awareness is there, that intellect is working on that way, practice only, on that way of living only. That is becoming your attitude. The stillness is what you are. That is your fragrance. Let your fragrance speak every time. Okay, not what the mind has perceived, not what your the state, the issues are told you. Look everything with the state of that stillness. Okay, then you see, you go beyond happiness and unhappiness. There is that inner peace, and everything has to end up, everything is born from that inner peace, and everything has to get dissolved from that to that inner peace only. So we have to maintain that. Okay, friends, so this is little about beyond happiness and unhappiness. And any doubts anyone has, please leave your comments in your the comment section. I'll be responding. Okay, friends, so see you tomorrow sharp again at 7 o'clock with another topic. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.